Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first live stream. Thank you all for coming. And first off, I want to mention happy holidays to all of you, as well as Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate. It's a really nice, warm 55-degree Christmas here up in Southern California. And I see we have a lot of people down here in the chat already. So thank you so much for coming. I'm super pumped for this because we got a lot of great questions on the community post I posted back on Tuesday of this week. And so we're going to go through those, as well as some of the questions here in the live stream as well. And bear with me, as this is my first live stream. I'm getting used to the software. I'm using StreamYard, just so you all know, just like Spencer and Chad has been doing at this point. And so let's take a look at the chat here and see what's going on. Please drop down also if you can hear me and everything goes loud and clear. I'm just going to go down to the bottom of the chat here. Anyone hear me okay? Sounds good? Looks good? Everything's great? Anybody? Hey, everyone. Okay, wonderful. So Sean B here says, here loud and fine. Here we go. We got Spencer Johnson in the house, my man. Also, we're going to talk about channel memberships too. That's really important because I think there's a use for them now. We'll go over that in one moment. Let's kind of go back to the top of the chat here. Tony, let's go. All right, love it. My man RemGB, good luck, Stan, on your first live stream. Appreciate it. I got your question. We're gonna go into that in the middle as well, but I want to say thank you so much for staying with me since I think it was March of 2022. I think we connected first when I posted my unboxing of my Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite credit card, and since then we've had such great discussions, and you've really taught me a lot about the game as well. So I really appreciate you, man. We got a mod in the house. Stan, good to see you, man. We also have a question here. I guess we'll kind of go into this one right up front. If you were to pick one, Riddell Medias asked, if you were to pick one, CSR or Ritz, he says best CSR alternative, that's not CSP. You know, I'd say that it depends on the situation. I think they're both very equally comparable cards. If I, for example, lived in Boston where there was a Chase Lounge, I would have the CSR. I don't, so I don't need it as much. The Ritz card, as you know, and we'll get into this more later in the video as well, the Ritz card's priority pass is exceedingly similar to the CSR's priority pass as well. So it depends on what you're looking for. I do value that 85K free night award from the Ritz Carlton card, and I am a Marriott loyalist. And so for me, the Ritz just makes a better choice and a better card for me at this point. We got Luke from Luke's Points and Miles here. Stan, I have to go take Carlos de Santa, and I will miss it. Oh, I'm going to miss you too, Luke, but we'll catch you back on the replay. He does have a question for me. Why do folks call the Platinum Coupon Book but completely ignore the fact that you need to use the coupons on the CSR to make up that 250 or 325 authorized user card or AU card? Well, I think the Platinum gets a lot of attention because it's the big dog. It's the kind of the top big daddy card with the coupon books. And so because there's so many credits on the Platinum card and it's a lot of credits that seem to be not related to each other, I think that's why we focus on it more. The CSR does have a lot more coupons as well, so I think that's something to keep in mind. But I think that's why the Platinum gets a lot more than just that. Let's take a look here. Keep going down the line. We got Matt Clausen in the house. Matt Clausen, great guy, great channel. He has very, very insightful videos. I watch him a lot when he has these prediction videos, and the thought process he has is just excellent. It's outstanding content. So definitely check him out if you can. Spencer, I'm just going to call you out here. I love how you took some time off from YouTube. I know that you and I have been posting for such a long time repetitively, and you, my buddy, have been pumping out 2 videos a week. And so I think you had some well-deserved rest. And so definitely take some time off. We're all anxiously waiting for your next video, so get it out when you can, but don't stress out. It's the holidays. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your friends, enjoy your family. And so that's really important to think about too when you're kind of doing this YouTube thing. So good to see you, Spencer, and thanks for being a channel member. Again, more on that later. All right, so you got One Bridge 11 asking the same question. We just covered that. Excellent. Big man Chad Money Minutes in the house. He had to make the live stream, so I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for showing up, and again, we're gonna have a good live stream here. We got CJ in the house as well. He's waiting, and now CJ is first. Yes, CJ is always first. We all know that, except when Ahmad is here. Then he's maybe Ahmad maybe first. So I don't know about that, CJ. We'll have to see about that. All right, so we have a lot of great things here. Let's make sure I don't miss anybody here. Frugal Dad Finance in the house. Good afternoon, Dr. Stan. Good afternoon to you too, sir. Hopefully you have a good Christmas weekend. My boy Cesar Joel, let's go. Great to see you live. Thank you so much, sir. We're going to talk about that in a moment as well as Josh Butler, my man Josh. I've missed your content, my friend, and I wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas. And hopefully, we'll see you on the YouTube channel soon because I haven't seen a video from a while, but I know family first. So I'm glad that you're enjoying your time with your family. Tyree, hi Stan. Thank you, Sean, again for telling me that things sound good. I think we're pretty much good here. I want to make sure I don't miss anything for now. A lot of chat here. Let's see here. Okay, so Sean B has a question. A few cards I have are the Saver One, Venture X, and Amex Gold. Would I be making any big gains with CSR or Ritz? I think it depends on what focus you want to have in terms of your membership reward points, your points, or your Capital One miles. I know that I talked with Spencer with this a while back in his podcast about the points diversity. I think points diversity is very important, but I think it depends on the spending level you have. If you're belting out a lot of spend, it may make sense to have more than one of these ecosystems, but really, if you're having not as much spend, focusing on one is going to be a lot better. And also, you have to look at what benefits are on each of the cards themselves. Like I mentioned earlier in this live stream, we had, if you live in Boston, for example, CSR is like a no-brainer because you get that access to that Chase Lounge over there. If you like Marriott and you want to stay at rich properties, definitely Ritz Card's a great one to get, although it's harder to get that one because of you have to do that, boundless product change after the first year. Okay, so I'm going to go into a few things first, just starting out here. So I want to mention that channel memberships are live. I've actually had them open for about a year now, and I actually never really mentioned them other than a community post about a year ago saying that they are there. It's $3 a month. I really just only put it as a way to support me if you'd like to. You get party responsive comments, which kind of really isn't a thing right now because I'm small enough that I can answer all the comments. And so I always strive for a net zero inbox where I go ahead and answer every comment I possibly can. As we grow the channel, it may get a little harder to do that. So then that may come to bigger play. But I think for this specific situation, for these live streams that will be coming up that are live Q&A live streams, we're going to see that there may be a lot of questions in the community posts that I make. And so if you're a channel member, your questions will always be answered first when I go through them. And you'll see how I'm going to do that in a second. And so if you want to support the channel, I highly, recommend it, but I really appreciate it if you decide to do so. And that's what channel memberships are. And so let me make sure I don't forget anything here. I actually have a special presentation for all of you guys here. So it's not just me and looking at my face, although maybe you want to do that or not. I have a live Q&A here. Again, we're going to talk about monthly live streams. So for me, my goal of this year was to start live streaming this year. And I'm happy to say that this is the first one that we've had gone on. So I accomplished that goal. But my plan for 2024 is to do these at least monthly. I'd like to do them more often if I could, but because of my full-time job and other commitments, it's hard to do these live streams all the time. And so I can do them at least once a month. That's what you should expect. I will always announce them 3 to 5 days beforehand just to make sure that you guys have some time to kind of process it, make sure you're available, make sure you're free. And that's kind of what to expect from me there as well. And I forgot to put this off. Sorry about that. Okay. Also want to mention channel memberships. We said that. So, and this time is your time. What I want to make these live streams about is really connecting directly with you. So if you ever had a burning question that you wanted to ask me, I do answer every comment that I get. And so I try to be as good as I can with those. But if there's something that you want me to answer live on stream, I'm here for that. This is what I'm here for. I spend an hour or 2 hours a month, just almost like if you're in college and you went to office hours for your class. That's the kind of vibe I'm going for here, is that I want you to feel free and open to ask questions. And if you do ask questions in the live stream, of course, I'll try to answer them as best I can. But you will get a better answer from me if you do ask it beforehand. So I have some time to think about it. I don't necessarily prep them and rehearse them or anything like that, but I do think about it a little bit to make that answer just that much better for you. And so if you have a question, just keep a lookout out for those community posts, because that's where you can ask those questions and I can actually prepare them for you ahead of time. And so again, this time is your time. I hope that I can be as helpful as possible to you. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. Again, thank you to all of you who posted on that community post, even if it wasn't a question. I appreciate every single one of you. The reason why I do YouTube is because I want to make sure that I share my experiences with you guys so you can learn from my mistakes and maybe learn something along the way. And so I love responding to your comments. I love responding to you guys here in the live chat, as I will in a moment. And so this is why I do what I do, is to really connect with all of you, and this is another way for me to do so. And so, Jake Andy, can't wait to catch you on the live stream, Stan. Walk on. Anthony Venture already here. Oh, first solo live stream. Let's go. So Anthony Venture, love that guy. He actually turned me on to live streams because I was on his live stream maybe a couple of months ago, 6 months ago or so, and it was a lot of fun. And so I really, really appreciate him, and also Chad. I know he does a lot of live streams as well, and so I think those are the best way to connect with your fellow content creators. Lucas Points and Miles, love it. We'll be there. He obviously can't be there because he has to take his son. No problem. Family first. That's really important. I'm all about that. So definitely catch on the replay. No problems there. Josh Butler, sweet deal, Stan. Hoping to make it. I'm glad you're here, Josh. I see you here in the comments. So thanks so much. I got you a little love sign there. I love it. Good to see you, buddy. Ow. I will be there. Hope you're here, Ow. But love that name. And Mr. Leo Prito, December 23rd, we'll be partying and bar hopping starting at 2 p.m. at this place. I don't know if you guys want to say hi to Leo while he's there, but he is always cheersing everybody since he loves that stuff. So definitely check out Leo if you're in the, I guess, Northern Virginia area. I definitely want to also shout out Josh for joining the membership. I don't know where that is here. Oh, here it is. Thank you, Josh, for being a new YouTube member. I really appreciate you, bro. Definitely going to be a good time. And I see this little thing here. What's this? He's gifted people 10 memberships. I don't actually know how that works out, but definitely if you want to join membership, it looks like Josh has graciously offered that to 10 people who would like to have a membership. And so thank you, Josh, so much. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I really, really appreciate all the help you've given me over the years now, 2 years, both for my thumbnails and for my videos. Like, you've been just an awesome friend, and thank you so much for that. We got my buddy Nikosi, Nubia Rising, with a $5 super spot or super chat. Thank you so much. Nikosi, you've been a member for more than 6 months, and we've been talking back and forth in the comments, and you always provide such great, insightful comments, and I love talking with you. So appreciate the super chat. Been waiting for this, Stan. A softball. If you had to choose only one, Ritz Carlton or Bonvoy Brilliant, why? I found the RC Club Access hit or miss. So let's first take a step back and talk about what the Ritz Carlton Club Access means. So what that is the card comes every year with 3 annual Ritz Carlton Club passes. So if you stay at a Ritz Carlton, and this is only revenue stays only, so only stays you pay for, you can upgrade it with these free certificates to get to the Ritz Carlton Club. And the club is going to be a place where you can relax. There's going to be food and drink. There's going to be also, they say that there's going to be presentations of the food and drink of the area of where you're staying in. I personally have not been to one yet, although I have one scheduled in the future. But to answer your question, I would pick the Bonvoy Brilliant. And here's why. It's got that $25 dining credit monthly, which kind of sucks, but it's good enough where you can use it every month if you decide to do that. So that really cuts that down to $300. So it's now going to be $350 effective annual fee. I do value the platinum status of Marriott because I think that's the minimum status you can get for anything real. When you get Marriott gold status or silver status, you do get like free internet, but that's really the only thing you get, and that should be free anyways. So the platinum is where you really start to get the benefits like the free breakfast, similar to Hilton Gold. And so if you want to do anything similar to Hilton, Marriott Platinum is kind of the base where you have to be at. And then not only that, but there's also the Elite Night credits and the 85K friend award, although, the 85K is on both, the Ritz Carlton as well as the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant. But that's the question for me. Awesome. Okay. I am really behind on the chat, so I need to figure that out. I also will go next here, and there's going to be a couple slides that say break, and I'm going to say break, and that'll put me back up here so you can see my face while I'm talking to you. And then we'll go through the chat a little bit, and that helps me make sure that I, catch all your comments too. Here we go. Emmanuel's here in the house. Hello, Emmanuel. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see here. All right. Filmo78. No shopping today. Live the Credit Frog. Good to see you, buddy. All right. Let's keep going down here. Everyone looks good. All right. All the top creators are on. Christmas Miracle, Frugal Day Fest. You are correct. We got some heavy hitters here in the house. So I'm really happy that we're all here and can spend the Saturday morning, at least for me, Saturday afternoon for you guys on the East Coast together. Let's see here. Carlin Rob asks, any luck upgrade bidding on Cathay Pacific from LX to Hong Kong Economy to Premium? What would a good bid amount be? Best card to the bid. So I'm going to first start by saying that I am probably the least knowledgeable when it comes to doing any kind of luxury international redemptions. I will touch on that in a moment. Uh, there are plenty of other YouTubers out there that are pros at this. JP Knowledge is one. Obviously, Luke Points and Miles is another one. There are plenty of other people that do this on a regular basis that I would ask that question to. But yes, I heard that Cathay Pacific is a great partner to use because they have that connection with One World Alliance, and you can transfer your points to whatever airline you'd like to from them. And it usually is a pretty good deal. But I'm not familiar with this particular situation, so I'll have to defer that question. So sorry about that, but just want to make sure I get you the right person. Okay. Very good. I see here. I see Luke's here for a little bit. Cesar knows what's up. Yeah, Cesar knows stuff. I wish, when I first met Cesar and in the Las Vegas meetup, and he spoke perfect English, I was shocked. He speaks great Spanish and he speaks perfect English, and I don't understand any Spanish, but just to see him speak English was awesome. And so I know he runs a Spanish speaking channel, but maybe once in a while I can post an English speaking video, and that'll be super awesome to see. We got a $5 super spot from CJ. I got to find out where that is. CJ, $4.99. Of course. Team Rose Gold would like to extend the congratulations to you, Stan, on your first live stream. I appreciate the friendly banter here with Team Gold and Team Rose Gold. Thank you so much, CJ. I'm happy you're here. I love that. I know Anthony is really happy about that, so that's cool. But again, I'm Team Gold. I did switch my business gold to a rose gold color, but that's because it's pending cancellation, as well as when my gold comes up for cancellation as well, I'll change it to rose gold too, so I can cancel both of the rose gold cards and not the gold card, obviously. So there's that. All right, so let's go up here, make sure I don't forget anything here. YouTube experiment. Hi, Stan the Credit Prop. Happy Festivus. I think it's Festivus. Happy Festivus to you too as well. All right, very good. So we have everyone here. What should I got? Jacob Points and Profits. What's up, Stan? Everybody check out Jacob Points and Profits channel. He's a great guy. We've been interfacing a lot in the comment section. He actually does travel a lot as well and does some pretty nice redemptions. So he's another guy to ask any questions about that as well. And I see there's another super chat going on here. Thank you so much, Tony, for the $9, or I guess $10 super chat here. Team Classic represent. Love this live stand. Thank you so much, Tony Venture. Again, I think you and Chad have turned a lot of us on the community onto live streaming. It's definitely a different format. It's not something I'm used to, but hoping to get used to very quickly. Again, it's going to be interesting trying to manage the chat here as well as the questions that I have. But, we're all here to have fun. This is why we're doing it. This is why we're here. And so let's have a good time. Let's enjoy the holidays. Let's enjoy this time off that we have. Let's also enjoy talking about credit cards, which is our favorite topic. So let's do it. Perfect. Okay. So, okay. Stan Luke, our goat. Thank you so much, AP. Appreciate it. Let's see. This is a little difficult to go through all the chat, but I'm trying to get everybody. I'm sorry if I missed you because there's just a lot of chat, but I'll try my best. Derek Young, when you upgrade the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless to the Ritz card, do you still keep all your 5 free night reward stays? I don't think I will use them before the 1 year mark. I don't know the answer to that specifically, but if I were to guess, I think the answer would be yes. I believe the 5 free night award stays has an expiration date, so I would use it before then. I don't see why they would take those away if you Ritz Carlton product change up. I know that I believe it was Spencer that got the 5 night free night award as well, although he already used his from what I remember. So I'm not sure. I think the answer is yes, they will stay, but I'm not sure. Yep, here we go. CJ gets another one here. Sorry, I misclicked that one. David William here, Stan the Man, the true doctor of credit. Well, thank you so much. I am a doctor, but I'm not the doctor of credit. That's reserved for actually the doctor of credit. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But the doctor of credit is a great resource for all of us. He does a lot of great news, and so keeping up with his website is really, really important for sure. Okay. Juan Garcia says, thoughts on the changes with the built effective January 1st. Yes, so there's some new changes going on where they increase the memberships, or not memberships, increase the tiers to silver. I think it's 50, and then gold was 100, and platinum is 200, or something like that. I actually never thought about the tiers as something that's relevant. I know that if you're banging out spend on the build card, maybe, but I never saw anything that was useful on the built changes, like those built tiers. I never like looked at that. I was like, that's why I want to get a built card, because of the tiers. I got the built card basically to pay rent on the card and get points for it. And so that's kind of why I use it. If you want to bang out like 3x spend on it, the dining multiplier, or do a rent day, spend a palooza on the first of every month and just bang out $10,000, which I think is the maximum on that card, that could be something that's worthwhile. But from my perspective, it doesn't really affect me. If people who are more knowledgeable at the build card want to chime in about the tier stats and if it's really relevant, definitely just comment that down below, because again, I just use it only for rent payments and like dining, and we'll kind of go over that later on in this stream as well. Okay, so a lot of stuff here. I'm gonna like stop where it says Anthony Ventures thing here where he did super chat, because I gotta keep going here on this presentation. So we have a couple questions from people from before. So let's start with the first one, which comes from my man Jake Vanderplug. He asked, is there a Mrs. Frog or Mr. Frog? And I'm happy to say, Jake, that I do have a Miss Frog, and Miss Frog and I have gotten engaged earlier this year. So I'm really happy to announce that we're getting married very early on in spring of 2024. So we've been really into the wedding planning season. And for those of you who are married, know that it's a kind of a big deal with the wedding. If you have to plan it out, and there's a lot of things going on, like getting a venue set and all the different vendors and invitations. So we're doing all that stuff. And so the reason why I bring that up is because when there's a wedding, there's typically going to be a honeymoon, right? And so our honeymoon actually is going to end up being at the end of 2024. And that really segues us to our next question, which is Mr. Matt Welter, one of my good friends, Matt Welter. Him and I have been doing this YouTube thing pretty much the entire time since we first started. We started together, and so we've become really good friends. And so I really appreciate that, the camaraderie we've had with each other. So let's go, Stan. What is number one on your list as a future luxury travel redemption? And so the reason why I mentioned the honeymoon is that the honeymoon is actually my number one on my list. Now, there are two locations. We're going to talk about that, two locations. For the honeymoon, it's going to be in late November. We did that so we could go ahead and redeem our points in the way that is the most effective. Also, the places we're going to go to between November and I would say January, February is the best time to go because it's less humid in that area. And so with that, this is actually where we plan on going. And so if you look at the slide here, you can see that our number one goal is to go to Japan and Thailand. Congrats, Stan, from Ahmad. Thank you so much, Ahmad. Appreciate it. Tony, it's going to be an amazing wedding and honeymoon. Stan, thank you so much, sir. And let's see here. Thank you, Chad, for this, by the way. Quick pointer, priorities members, and then super chats will giving particularly relevant comments to some shine. Perfect. Thank you, Chad. I know you're a pro at this, so I'm going to take that into account as well. All right. So anyways, back to the honeymoon redemption. We're going to be traveling to Japan and Thailand. I put on the side there what my MR point bank was and what my Bonvoy point bank was, because we have already executed these redemptions. I didn't do it alone. I did it with help. I'll go into that in a moment. But for Japan, our plan is to go to Tokyo. We'll be there for about a week. And then in Thailand, we'll go there afterwards. We'll probably go through Singapore. And then we will stop by in Phuket for a couple of days and then go to Bangkok for a couple of days. I'm half Thai. My fiance is also full Thai. And so, luckily she speaks Thai. I speak no Thai, I speak only English. So it'll be good to have her around, but we're excited. She's been to both countries, Japan and Thailand. I've actually never been to Japan before in my life. I want to go so badly. And so I'm happy to go later on next year. Excuse me. And in Thailand, I've been there, but about 20 years ago. So it's been a long time since I've been to either of those countries. So it's going to be a great time. And I hope that, we have a really great time while we're there. Having said that, I did mention earlier in the chat that in the live stream, that I'm not the best when it comes to redeeming internationally for the best redemption, because as we all know, it's very hard to execute these redemptions, and it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes effort. And I'm at a point in my life where I could sit down and learn the game, go on C Start Arrow, like look at all the stuff and try to make that redemption myself. And I think if you guys are younger and you guys have a lot of time, I think that's great because you can really get the best redemption you can possible. But again, I have a full-time job. I run this YouTube channel. I have time for my family and friends. I like to outsource this stuff because I just don't have the time to learn it the right way and do it the right way. And so I know that I met this guy, JP Knowledge, at the Las Vegas meetup, and you guys know him from his channel. And I actually know that he recently started a service to book points and miles. And so I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, JP, how can we do this? I want to go during this date, during this time. How can we make these redemptions?" He gave outstanding advice, excellent advice, stuff that I never would have even thought of researching it myself. And I know that JP Knowledge is a good guy to do this for because he does it himself as well. And so what I did was I hired him, and for a modest fee, he actually looked at the redemptions and would text me, "Hey Stan, the redemption you want is here. Go get it." And so I went in and did it myself. And then he did it for both the flight going from LA to Japan as well as from Japan back to LA. And so I didn't have to like look at C Star Air every day or look at the thing every day to see when I had to redeem flights. I had someone else do it for me, and I got outstanding redemptions. And I'm very happy with him. And I had a lot of questions, so I had someone to go back and forth with. And so if you ever are in the situation that I'm in, where you may value that time more than the money aspect of it, he's a good resource. And I would definitely recommend those services if that's something helpful to you. So, anyways, that is kind of the story with the number one redemption. I'm gonna make sure I got the question answered. Anyways, so this the membership rewards points, that's down to like maybe $75,000 or 75,000 points now. This Marriott, I think it's down to 250. So there's that too. And so that's exactly what I did for those redemptions. Looking forward to it. I will post a video. This video is going to be about a year out because I want to make it so that I go there, film the stuff, and then post the video and the redemptions. So this is kind of like a preview. So if you're here with me in a year from now, you'll be able to see this redemption video, and it's going to be a good one. So there's that. Matt Clausen, new member. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining, Matt. I really appreciate you and what you do and bring it out to the community. I see here, just going back real quick, Josh Butler, that's going to be an awesome trip, Stan. Nice work on earning a ton of points. That's very true. I did take 2 to 3 years to just accrue a bank. I am a fan of the earn and burn strategy. I did mention in a previous video that I'm kind of banking these points, and it's not good to do that, but it was for this honeymoon redemption. So now I'm just burning them as fast as I possibly can, just getting them out of my system. And so burning them is really helpful. So moving forward after the honeymoon, my plan is to kind of just do the earn and burn like you're supposed to do. But if, again, you have a plan for your points, this is really important to do as well. Okay. Luke Points and Miles. Sounds like a great honeymoon. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that. Let's see here. One of the greats when it comes to CC content. Killing it, Stan. Thanks so much, Casey Wynn. Appreciate it. And of course, Luke Points and Miles. Stan, I honestly had no clue you were half Thai. It's hard. Sometimes people think I'm Korean. I get that a lot. Like, Stan, are you Korean? And so I'm not. I'm actually half Chinese, half Thai. But that is, it's hard to tell sometimes. And I get that. So, but yes, that is my nationality. Great. We have some more stuff here. Okay. Olivia Yu is in the house. Olivia, would be interested to see a vid on your back and forth with JP. Yep. Better, I guess, next time, because we didn't actually record any of that stuff. But definitely great guy, very knowledgeable, great service. Again, there's plenty of points gurus out there on different websites that aren't YouTubers that offer this type of service. I would encourage you to know who you're going to do this with, because I met JP. He's an awesome guy, as well as the other creators here in the chat. So I think that's very, very cool. And so that's why I went with JP. Maybe the other people have done it longer than he has, but I trust the guy, and he executed it excellently. None of this, like, I had confirmed seats, which I think is the most important, right? And so when you do these redemptions, sometimes you get like on a wait list, especially to like the Asian countries. I don't want that. Like, I want to sit next to my fiance during the flight, right? So that's important to me. So that was something I prioritized more than the actual cent per point value. But we got those. They're confirmed seats. And so I'm super pumped, super excited for that. Got some super chats in the house. Chad's Money Minutes here. Here's to more drinks at the Waldorf. Congrats on the stream. Keep them coming. Thank you so much for the $10 spot, Chad. Yes, Chad and I actually met up in Las Vegas during the meetup as well. And we actually were able to get some drinks down at the Waldorf Astoria Sky Bar, so that was super chill. I will be returning to that hotel. Excellent hotel. I love it. I do go to Las Vegas fairly often. I actually went there just a couple days ago, and so it's definitely great. So definitely going to have more live streams. Definitely going to help you guys out more often, hopefully with these things here. Another super chat here. Luke's Post and Miles, $10, and thank you so much, sir. There's nothing here in the chat, but you've been very active here in the chat, so I really do appreciate that. Okay, next question. Let's keep on moving here. Number 3 on the JP Knowledge. What are your feelings with airline status? Have you / would you ever try to pursue it? Or do you believe the cost and time isn't worth the benefits given? So I'd have to say that based on what everyone is saying here in the credit card community is airline status is not really that great. I think it's good if you fly the way that they want you to organically, like you spend the amount of money you do and you happen to get status, or you fly amount of segments and you happen to get status. That's all really, really important. But I don't think I would ever go out of my way to get airline status. And from my knowledge, there's no credit card that makes you get into like an airline status. Also, you have to actually earn it through either spending or through by flying segments. And so basically, when we talk about have you or would you ever try to pursue it, I do actually have airline status. And so that's shown in this slide here. I am A-list preferred on Southwest. I'm also Premier Silver on United. And I put this here just to kind of explain that. So for Southwest, A-list preferred is the highest tier, followed by A-list, followed by basically nothing. So what's really exciting is that next year, Southwest is going to lower their requirements from segments from 50 to 40 on A-list preferred and 25 to 20 on A-list. And the reason why you want to get A-list preferred is, as you know, it's kind of like a Greyhound bus where you have to get into like this ABC line and then fight for your seat, like depending on where you're on the line. If you're if you don't have status with the airline, what you do is you have to wait on your phone and 24 hours into that system, check in real fast, right? So you're gonna check in and hopefully you're gonna get something. You'll probably get something like B50 or something really lame, right? But if you're A-list as a status, what happens is 36 hours beforehand, they'll check you in. And you end up getting something like A30, A40. And just so to go back a little bit, A1 through 60 is one boarding group, then B1 through 60, then C1 through 60. A-list preferred, you get before them as well. And so you get something like A20, 25, something like that. And then you have the business class gets A1 through 15 as well as early boarding if you want to buy that. So you can see here on the screen that I do have 49 of 50 flights. So I just barely make it with the segments. I don't actually spend enough to do A-list preferred, but the segments I fly so much domestically that I actually can make it just there. There's one that's actually I'm taking a flight at the end of the December. Also, one thing I want to point out, I just remember this. For those of you Southwest flyers, this is super important. Just listen to this. If you are going for segments for status, when you book a one-way flight, when you land, that one-way flight gets credited. However, if you book a round trip flight, you'll only get credit after that second flight is done. So you get booked with one flight for one way and two for two way. So why that's important is that because I booked this one-way flight at the end of the month, so it will credit before January 1st when everything resets. If you book a round trip flight and that flight goes from, like, for example, December 31st to January 1st, you'll get credit for those two flights on the 1st. And so you won't actually get the credit for this. And in this situation, I want to make sure I'm getting that one flight because I don't want to have it roll over and like I lose my A-list preferred status because I didn't do it the right way. So there's that. Also, you can see my points are pretty low. I think I spent about 180,000 points this year on Southwest. I actually had a lot more about a couple weeks ago, but as you all know, Southwest is devaluing their points on January 1st. So I just, emptied the whole thing out, just get it all out because once we're dealing on January 1st, they're going to be worth a lot less value. So I just got rid of as many as I possibly could. So the reason why I put the Marriott here, which is not an airline, is because I did actually end up getting Titanium Elite status. This does go back to the point where I mentioned the Ritz Carlton versus the Bonvoy Brilliant situation. So Bonvoy Brilliant gets you 25 Elite Night credits, and then I have the Bonvoy Business too, which gets you 15 Elite Night credits. So you have 40 total, which is helpful. And then you say 10 more nights, you get to 50. At 50, one of the awards they give you with Marriott is 5 Elite Night credits for free if you'd like to, among other types of benefits. And so that would get you to 55. and then you have to spend another 20 more nights to get to Titanium. So even though it said I stayed 76 nights, I actually only stayed 31, 21. Mental math fart here. Um, 25 plus 15 plus 5, 45, 75, 31. Say 31 nights this year. And so I just barely made it over to Titanium Elite. But why that's important is because when you get Titanium Elite, you get United Premier Silver, right? And so I have that. Now, did I get to Titanium Elite to get Premier Silver? No, but it's there, so I'll take it. It's fine. I have a couple United flights coming up in the next, next year, so I'll get to benefit from that. But I'm not really like worried about it. The one thing I will say about the airline status, though, is that if you have airline incidental credits, there's nothing that the credits can't do that the status cannot do, unless you talk about things like upgrades, like component upgrades. But those are few and far between, and so I don't really value those as much. I really look at things like priority check back or check bag, priority boarding. Those things are kind of the ones that I really look for to make sure that I have a good airline experience. And it's much nicer to on Southwest because Southwest, as you know, Greyhound bus, you got to fight for your seat, sort of thing. So having an earlier boarding position is going to be like a lot better if you can. So there's that. Okay, next question, Aaron. Nice. Definitely one I'm going to try and catch real time, referring to the live stream. Any good travel plans for 2024? We did talk about that a little bit. I talked with international, but I do also have a lot of domestic too, and that's listed here. I do have a lot of trips planned, and I think if a lot of you are in the travel points and miles game, you should plan on traveling a lot as well in 2024. That's the reason why we do this. I definitely do a lot more domestic trips than I do international trips. And so all these domestic trips are basically things like, going to weddings for friends, going to conferences, both for what I do for my primary job as well as for YouTube as well. And so these are what I have got going on at this point. So I would say they're more of a mix of personal and business. What's nice about these conference trips is that I can go and still enjoy the city while at the same time going and learning something from the conference. And so that's what I got going on. We mentioned already the international trips to Japan, Thailand, and Singapore because that's going to be for my honeymoon. So that's going to be great. Okay, so there's that break. Good. So let me go back to here. Sorry, I made myself really small for kind of a long time. Let me try to figure out if I can look at the chat better. Oh my gosh, there's so many here. Okay, so I'm going to focus more on questions here. Tyree, I would like to apply for the World Hyatt Corp, but the sub is not the best at the moment. Do you think the sub will increase in 2024? No, don't think so. So it kind of is what it is. We'll see how they do it. I think it's more likely that they'll increase or release that luxury Hyatt credit card. So we'll see how that goes. Chat money minutes. Best way to get airline status is by getting hotel status. That's for sure. I like that, Chad. I like that a lot. The videography in this live is off the chain. Thank you, Nikosi, my man. I appreciate that so much. Of course, Matt Closet, here we go. Thanks for responding to Tyree. Appreciate that. So those of you, by the way, that are in the chat that see questions that you can answer, you guys could really help me out by answering the questions for me because as much as I'd love to answer all the comments here, there's just so many of them that I have to have your guys' help. And like I mentioned before, I'm not the most knowledgeable about these things, but collectively, like all together, we can create this like kind of brain where we can just really feed off each other and really do a great job, helping each other out. So he answered Ty's question, supposedly building a luxury card with Chase, may launch in 2024, probably late. Yep, I agree. Got a super chat here by Mr. Jose Sacento. Thank you, sir, for a $10 super chat. Hey, San, can you clarify about that? You mentioned that if you get the Ritz Carlton card, you can get locked out of the Bonvoy Brilliant and business welcome bonuses. Yes, I can clarify that. So basically on the Brilliant card and now the Bevy card, just as you guys know, there's that recent change to the family language. If you hold a Ritz Carlton card, just straight up hold it, you cannot get a Brilliant or a Bevy card welcome offer. That is important to know because that can help you plan out when you want to get the Ritz Carlton card. So if you think about it in that way, you want to get the card after you get the welcome offer for the Brilliant or the Bevy. And if just as a small side note for the Marriott Bevy card, that card is kind of useless. So I know that it's something that you can get for a welcome offer, but because it's such a dumb card, I'd only get it for the welcome offer. And in the situation that we have now, you would go basically back to back bevy brilliant, right? And so that you can try to do that. Um, but I would not worry about the family language of the bevy card because to me that card does not exist. The reason why I say that is because if you look at the Hilton Honor Surpass card, which got refreshed, has a $15,000, sorry, yeah, $15,000 in spend for a free night award that is uncapped. Now, of course, there's exceptions. There's some places you can't use that, but for the most part, it's uncapped. So 15K spend, 150 annual fee without any other credits turning out. Looking at it, looking at the business Hilton card, which has not been refreshed yet, $95 annual fee for that same $15,000 spend with that same free night award. It gets you that uncapped, free night award from Hilton. But the Bevy card has that 15,000 spend for a 250 annual fee, and it gets you a 50K capped Marriott free night award. So trash, like why would you even bother doing that? It's like not useful. It's like a card that is not useful to anybody. So Chase Bountiful, Bonvoy Bevy from American Express, don't look at it. Only cards that are important: Bonvoy Boundless, Bonvoy Business from American Express, Ritz Carlton from Chase, as well as the Brilliant from the American Express family as well. So that's my answer to your question. Hope that helped out. Okay, good. So let me go back here to the chat where we. Very good. Okay, excellent. Yeah, covered that. Okay, my man Vincent Pasquale. Love you, by the way. I see you all the time in the comments, so thanks so much for commenting on my videos. We definitely have good back and forth about what's going on in the credit card world. He has, I got the Bonvoy balance with the 75K points and $300 e-gift offer. Not the largest offer, but they're much easier to use than FNAs. That's for sure. The problem with that is, the free awards are capped, and so a lot of places at Marriott's they have increasingly higher amounts of points you need to use for these redemptions. And so I agree. I think using money is always going to be the easiest way to go. And because you got the e-gift offer, I think that's a great way to go. So perfect. Awesome. That's a great offer. Congratulations, Vincent. Fanta's here. Hey, yo, what's up? What's up, buddy? Good to see you. All right, Fanta. I know we've talked a lot on the Discord as well as through direct message. So I'm glad to see you here, buddy. Okay. I see a super chat again. Jose says another $10 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. Let's see what you got going on here. Thanks for answering. I guess I will keep the Boundless for one more year. Lol, I want to do the Marriott Bonvoy free night strategy. Definitely. You have that video that I posted about, 4 or 5 months ago. It's still a great strategy to use. So if you want to do that Bonvoy strategy, definitely check that video out and look for the little details. I still think it's valid even after the Bevy family language change. But again, that card is trash. Don't look at it. It does not exist, basically. All right. So I want to shout out some people here. Matt Welter responding to Rodell Media. Boundless way more useful than the Bountiful, though. So in almost all cases, Boundless route makes sense. I agree, Matt. I mean, Bold is there to basically be a free night, or sorry, a free annual, no annual fee card that's free as a downgrade path if you want. But Boundless is definitely the way to go for sure. And so let's see here. I think we're pretty good. Fanta gets Titanium Elite as well. Congratulations, Fanta. I'm going to be using that a lot in 2024. All those trips I got planned from the previous slide I showed you guys, they're all mostly at Marriott. So that's going to be really great to test out this Titanium, see how it does both in the domestic realm as well as in the international realm as well. Okay, good. So Abdullahi World just had a really smart thing here, or sorry, really quick chat here. Or Stan, what are your overall thoughts on preferred rewards? I want to say that's from the Bank of America system. If that's what you're referring to, just drop it down in the chat. But I love it. I think it's great. I mean, personally, I've been Bank of America for a long time. I think that their cards are not really that great, except for the customized cash rewards card until you get to at least platinum tier in Bank of America. So once you get to platinum honors, those cards are really, really good. And especially the customized cash rewards for that 5.25% on those categories you choose every month. And that's a great strategy to get a bunch of those cards, kind of like getting a city custom cash, like a bunch of those. If you get a bunch of customized cash rewards cards, like you get basically the same situation. And I know 100,000 seems like a lot for platinum honors, but if you invest and use brokerages within the Merrill Lynch system or Merrill Edge system, it's actually a little more achievable once you kind of get to that level of investing and saving. But if you can't make it there, no sweat. There are plenty of other great cards out there from Capital One and Chase that do pretty much the same thing. if you look at the preferred rewards at the no annual fee level. So if you can do it, I highly recommend it. If you can't, no sweat. There's tons of other alternatives that you can use for very, very good value as well. Okay. Spencer Johnson's got to leave. Head out. You killed it with the stream stand. Much love. I think the happy is going to be like an emoji, but I appreciate you, Spencer. Looking forward to seeing your next video, buddy. And of course, we'll be in touch soon. We chat, almost on the daily. So thank you so much for the value you provide to the community. And, I really appreciate everything you do for us. And I love the videos you do. And so keep rocking it. Keep killing it yourself, buddy. All right. Okay. So real quick, we're going to go back into the presentation because we got some more question and answer. Question number 5. Eddie asks, if you stacked every credit card that you have on top of each other, how tall would that tower be? And so the way I took this question is that every credit card that I have currently, not including authorized users. And so I had to measure it, and I did that last night. And so we'll take a look at that. So that's what that looks like here. So the answer to that question is actually 5/8 of an inch, or 1.59 centimeters. And it was really funny because my fiance helped me take this picture, and she was like, you should tell them this in centimeters. And I was like, no, this is America. In America, we use inches. So 5/8 inches, that's kind of what we're using here. And so that's what it looks like. You can see there's 8 metal cards off the top there. There's also 9 plastic cards. So I have 17 currently credit cards that are active. 4 of them are embossed. So I think it's a little bit less than that. The embossed cards are kind of annoying. I think the 4 that I had were the Barclay Card Arrival, Chase Ink Unlimited, Chase Ink Cash, and the Hilton Honors Business. Hilton Honors Business is going to be changed soon, so I'm not worried about that one. But the Chase Ink cards, the aesthetic was refreshed in 2021. It used to be a little different, and I thought that the embossed cards would go away. And I think it's kind of annoying that they're still embossed because those cards, as you all know, are outstanding cards. Chase Ink Cash, Chase Ink Unlimited. My gosh, they are very, very powerful cards with very, very powerful welcome offers. But the issue is that they're so embossed, so it looks kind of crappy and it doesn't look great. So I would hopefully they'll refresh the aesthetic at some point and make sure that it looks better like the other plastic cards. But I don't know, just a little thing that aesthetics, in my opinion, does matter. Especially, I think it's actually more important than metal versus plastic. I think plastic versus plastic embossed, you got to get rid of embossed. It's just not a thing anymore. I know why they had it. They used to do that thing where they put your card down. They had this little slide thing. They slide it back and forth like this, and it inked onto this white paper so you can get your card number. But we're past that now. So just get rid of the embossed cards. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look pretty. No one likes it. I don't know anyone likes it. And it makes these kinds of measurements not accurate. So anyways, just my little 2 cents about that. Okay, so yes, everyone's saying America. This is America. That's right, Tony. USA, Luke's Points and Miles. Absolutely. We want to make sure we do that. Marcos Sevilla. We got America. Look at you. Statue of Liberty. This guy. Here we go. He loves America. We love America here. That's what we're all about. Okay, excellent. I love it. I love it. David William also. By the way, David, thanks for commenting on my channel. I see you all the time there. We have some good discourse there. What checking savings brokerage accounts do you like to use? So the ones I like to use are the ones that don't change a lot, because the ones that offer you 5.25 APY on your savings account, those are typically promotional. And I'm old enough to know that when you have a good APY like that, it's not going to stay for a long time. I like the stable APY. So for example, I think Ally Bank does 4.35 and I bank with them. They're pretty stable. They'll kind of stay there and not tease you with a 6% APY and then change it all of a sudden. Or some of these crypto companies do that sort of thing. So I'm all about stability. And so if you're a stable bank with a stable multiplier or a stable APY, I'm all for that. So those are the types of accounts I like to use. Okay, very good. So let's go away and go to the next question. Mr. Lance, what is the process to get another a sign-up bonus or a welcome offer from Chase after the 4-year window has passed on any other cards? And so I am not the foremost Chase expert, but I will say that there is a process to this. I think what he's referring to, and correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, he's referring to the Chase Sapphire Preferred and Chase Sapphire Reserve. So as far as I know, every Chase credit card has a welcome offer language that says you must wait 24 months before you get the welcome offer again. That's for the Chase Freedom cards. That's for the Chase Southwest cards, for the Chase United cards. But the only exception to that rule is going to be the Chase Sapphire Preferred and Chase Sapphire Reserve cards. And so if you look at that, you can see that the welcome offer language says that you must wait at least 48 months before you get another one. And so, in order to deal with that, there's two ways to do that. You can product change the card you currently have. And I also want to mention you can only have one Sapphire card at a time, so you can't have both. So if you're at that 4-year mark, you would product change that card down to a Freedom card, so you don't have a Sapphire card anymore, and then apply for a new Sapphire card. Or you could just cancel the Sapphire card itself if you don't want to have a Freedom card for whatever reason, and then reapply for that Sapphire card again for the welcome offer. That's how I think that they're looking at it. If I missed something about that question, let me know, but that's kind of how I interpret this question. Okay, thanks so much for the question. RemGB, okay, we're here to question number 7. So, with the family of 4, including 2 kids, economy travel is more practical for me. I'm finding more and more that booking with 1.5 cent per point value using CSR is the best value redemption for economy travel. Booking with points, even for international travel for economy, does not come closer to that value. This, along with coupon fatigue, is driving me away from Amex and closer to Chase. I think you and a lot of other people as well. CSR is a highly underrated card. It supercharges your Chase UR points. When are you getting CSR? I think it pairs well with the US Bank Altitude Reserve. And so I think that's a really great question, RemGB. So just to kind of take a step back, the US Bank Altitude Reserve card and the Chase Sapphire Reserve, we take a look at both of those cards together. You obviously US Bank Altitude Reserve, great 3x multiplier on mobile wallets and travel. CSR 3x points on travel and dining. So I think from the multiplier standpoint, you can use that dining on the CSR to complement the US Bank Ultra Reserve. Although I think because the mobile wallet covers a lot of that already, it's kind of more of a mesh than I think it is. What really separates them out is kind of the lounge access. So US Bank Ultra Reserve gets you that 8 lounges every year, and their priority pass lounges are actually very similar to what the CSR gives you. Again, access to the restaurants. And so I think that's really important to distinguish because in that situation, only the Chase Sapphire Reserve has the access to that Boston or Hong Kong lounge that's currently open now for those Chase lounges. And so I think if you lived in, like, for example, those areas, like in Boston, Chase Sapphire Reserve is going to be better. I do get what you're saying about the 1.5 cent per point redemption from the Chase Travel Portal. Still very, very good. Again, that's something that can be used well, but the Altitude Reserve also has a very similar feature to that, and they also can do the real-time rewards too. So I think that's even more flexible than Chase. But we have to admit that Chase does have the transfer partner. So it depends on kind of what you're looking for. Now, the second part of the question is, when are you getting the Chase Sapphire Reserve? I want to put the slide up here. So this is what I think is going to be the luxury travel credit cards kind of moving forward. We've got the Platinum card at $695. We got the Sapphire Reserve card at $550 and the Venture X at $395. And so in my mind, I will only have one of these cards at a time. And the reason for that is I really don't like having a credit card setup that has overlap. And so when I look at these travel credit cards, the one thing that stands out to me other than the annual fees is the access to the lounges they give you, right? And so obviously Platinum has the Centurion Lounge Network, Sapphire has their Chase lounges, Capital One has their Capital One lounges. And so based on where I live geographically in the United States is where I'm going to choose my card. So for example, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denver, I'm going to choose Venture X. Boston, I'm going to choose a Reserve. Anything with the Centurion Lounge is going to be the Platinum. For me, I travel a lot through California, so we have escape lounges in Sacramento, which I go to a lot. That's going to be the Platinum card is kind of the best one for me because I use that lounge all the time. But I never really fly to Boston that much. I don't fly to Dallas or Denver that much, and so those lounge access is kind of not really what I'm looking for. So I think the Platinum card is kind of what my choice will be. So if the Chase Sapphire Reserve ever comes out with a lounge that makes sense for me, that may be a reason why I get it. For the Capital One Venture X card, if I ever need a card for a 2x multiplier, which I don't think I'll ever need because I already have one, that may be an issue too. But again, it's all based on geography. And so let's take a look here. Alan. Oh, by the way, thank you, Alan, for joining as a member. Appreciate you, buddy. Send out a question. Is it okay to start out with the Amex Brilliant Marriott card first, then Chase? Yes, that's certainly good to do too. Just know that when you get Amex Marriott cards, you have to wait at least 24 months before you're eligible to get the welcome offer on any Chase cards, right? The reason why that it may make sense to start out with Chase first, especially the boundless card, is because you can start that timer for that Ritz Carlton product change. Whereas if you start with Amex first, you may not be able to do that. And so that's really important just to keep in mind. And the Ritz not in your mindset, or you don't want to get the Ritz card, it's totally fine. So depends on what you value more, platinum status or getting Chase cards first. It's kind of up to you. Very good. Thank you. Let's see. Crimson K asks, hey Stan, does RC give you access to Sapphire Lounges but not Terrace? I do not believe they give access to Sapphire Lounges. And that's why the CSR may be better in the case if you want to go to a Sapphire Lounge. But they do both give you party passes that give you access to non-airport loungy type of places like restaurants. The specifics, I'm not entirely sure, but that's kind of how I would view it. Okay, very good. So let's keep on rolling here. Next question, Eagles all day. So first of all, Eagles all day. I don't know if it's because you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan or you actually like watching Eagles fly around like the birds. And both are great, not to mention which one is which, but if you were to just let me know which one you'd like, I'm curious, but I was trying to decipher your name, and I want to say it is Philadelphia Eagles, like a fan. By the way, they're doing really well in the NFC, so kudos to you. But I just want to know if you really like Eagles, the NFL team, or Eagles like the actual bird Eagles, because they're both great. Because again, we live in America. In America, we love Eagles. Good. So, hey Stan, is there any rumor or reason Chase would no longer allow people to product change to the Ritz Carlton card? I'm at the start of the Marriott strategy, which is the boundless card, and wondering if I should just product change after 1 year instead of 2. Great question. I think I get this question a lot because everyone's concerned about the Ritz Carlton shutting down, or they're limiting access to them because of the fact they can't apply for them directly. So let's take a look at that. This is the Ritz Carlton card. You can see here that we have an annual fee of $450. But remember, this card was discontinued on July 26, 2018. That's about 5 years ago. And so in my mind, if they wanted to cancel the card completely or make it something different, they would have done it already. And I think Chase actually wants to keep this card open. And there's a couple of reasons why. For the Bonvoy Brilliant versus Chase Ritz Carlton card argument, American Express has the premium Bonvoy cards available, both for the business side as well as that Bonvoy Brilliant. But Chase doesn't have access to that type of card for, I don't know if it's because that's the agreement they have with Marriott Bonvoy versus Amex. And so I think Chase wants to keep this luxury card around because it's their only way to do so. And so I don't think that they're going to cancel this card or make it harder to get. This is all speculation, by the way. I have no idea what's going on. So I just take that with a grain of salt. But just based on what I've seen from the history of this card, I don't think they're going to close out an ability to product change from the boundless card to this card. It's just something that's well known. We know about it. Could it go the way of Citi Prestige? Yeah, but Chase is not Citi. Citi is Citi. So we have to think of that too. So let's keep that in mind. Second thing is at Ritz Carlton, and this has been my personal experience, if you're a Marriott status member, it typically doesn't really matter for Ritz Carlton. I've seen some data points where if you're titanium, maybe it's better. They may give you more perks or some upgrades, but for the most part, Ritz Carlton has their own system where they will give you upgrades or not. And so that is in line with what the Ritz Carlton offers you. So if you do stay at Ritz Carlton properties, and for example, you want to use those 3 free Ritz Carlton Club upgrades, that's something to think about. And so for those reasons, I think the Ritz Carlton card will continue to be in the ecosystem and will continue to be something we can use as part of our strategies. So just moving back to the chat here, my boy, Stan the Man, salute. Thank you, Chris V. Appreciate your comments. Let's see here. Anything else? I have to keep going up here. Perfect. I think we're good here. I think we have Kim here. I think you should do a review about the Founders card. It saved me a lot on Waldorf hotels, especially during conventions in Las Vegas. Oh, it's interesting. I don't know much about the Founders card. I'll definitely look into it. And definitely if I think it's a worthwhile card to review, I'll definitely take a look at it. So thanks for the tip. Appreciate it. Matt Walter has to head out. Congratulations, Matt Walter. I have to head out. Congratulations on all of your success with the channel recently, and more to come in 2024. Stan, happy holidays, everyone. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you, sir. Hope you have a good, happy holidays as well. Merry Christmas to you and your lovely wife, and we will hopefully see you real soon. Okay. And then, so let's keep going with these questions here. My man Vincent asked a question: how many hard inquiries would be deemed as too many by future card prospects? And so let's cover that real fast. There is no hard number that I would use to say too many. There obviously is, going to be a context dependent answer to that. So let's cover that. So I am of the mindset that being conservative with your hard inquiries is very important. And that's also why I apply for a lot of American Express cards, because of that little thing they have. That's, if you have one personal card, every other application is a soft pull. And I love that. I can get a lot more of their cards and actually subsequently spend more on their cards because of that. I think back to all of the Chase cards I would love to get, but because of the Chase 524 rule, I just don't get them. And so I know that some people have beat 524. I don't try to push my luck because I know that if I don't get it, I'll get a hard pull. And I don't want to have a hard pull for nothing. Excuse me. Some people don't mind that because if you look at people like Luke's Points and Miles, for example, who plays for a lot of credit cards, there's a lot of hard inquiries on their credit report, and that's okay. But I want to say that Luke owns a house. I don't own a house yet. I would like to own a house at some point. Don't know when that's going to happen. So having a lower hard inquiry is important. So that's my personal thing about that. It's also issuer dependent, right? And so if you apply for a Capital One card or a Citi card and you got 11 inquiries on your report, they're just going to laugh at you and, basically, stick the nose up at you on the way out because they're not going to approve for the card, right? Now, if you have 11 inquiries based on kind of how they're spread out, Chase and Amex typically are a little bit better about that. Not saying that they would approve you for a card, but I think that they're a little better about that. But you can be guaranteed that you have, other banks that are more inquiry sensitive. They're just going to just not do that for you. US Bank is another one, by the way, as well. That is very inquiry sensitive. Like I said before, it's also context dependent because if it's a context of where these hard inquiries are. So say, for example, I had those 11 hard pulls and they are actually 12 months ago. So you had 0.6 hard pulls, 0.12 hard pulls, and 11.24 hard pulls. I don't think any of those hard pulls matter, right? And so I don't think there's a number, so to speak. But from my perspective, I try to keep my hard pulls from each report around 4 to 6 at a time. So, for example, maximum 4 to 6 on Experian, maximum 4 to 6 on TransUnion, maximum 4 to 6 on Equifax. If it's lower, it's better. But that's kind of a gauge what I use when I apply for credit cards to keep my hard pulls in check so I can maximize my chances for approval, but at the same time be okay with having some hard pulls on my report. And this may change as I move forward in 2024 because I'll apply for most likely less American Express cards. So I got to be really good about maximizing my chances to make sure those hard pulls really do count. Okay, great. So Cesar Joel, hit that like button, guys. Thank you, Cesar. I really appreciate that. Also, I have a thing here. Let's take a look where I can find it. I think it's this one. It's a banner here. Hit that like button. All right, if you're getting value, definitely hit the like button. We appreciate it so much. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so Alan has a comment here. So I guess I could start Brilliant card with welcome bonus and also open up Chase Marriott without welcome bonus. Yes, that actually is something you can do. If you do not value the Chase welcome offer, then you can just don't worry about it. But if you want to value the welcome offer, then you probably should wait 2 years. Let's see. Matt Clausen says loss of the Ritz Carlton card publicly available occurred when Marriott finished off the Starwood purchase and Starwood had Amex. I think it was a Amex condition since they lost Starwood. Very good, Matt. Matt, I think you're totally right about that. It's when the Starwood merger happened, there was a lot of shuffling, and I think it just so happened Chase got the lower tier cards and Amex got the higher tier plus the business. And so I don't know the specifics about that. I have to look it up on the internet, but that's definitely for sure. Okay, another question here. And before I go, I have another question. I don't think I do. Break. Good. Sorry. I'm going to go back to my face here. Okay. Hoopy Bird says, I am an Amex pop-up jail and having a hard time getting out for the past 3 months. Looking for Hilton Aspire. Any suggestions? I enjoy your videos. Well, thank you, Hoopy Bird. Appreciate the question. It is hard to get out of pop-up jail. I'm not going to lie about that. I think the one thing that has helped me a lot when I was in pop-up jail is just spending on the card. That's something that everyone says, and I think it is true because that's kind of what everyone has been doing. So by spending cards, I would just try to get as much spend on the card as you can so that it doesn't look like you're just holding cards and not doing any spend on them. I will say that I have been in pop-up jail for the Hilton Honors regular card before, but then when I immediately applied for the Hilton Honors business card, I was not in pop-up jail. So it's a different, just because you're in pop-up jail for one card does not mean you're in pop-up jail for the other card. So I think there are certain things that Amex looks for when you apply for their cards, but we just don't know what that is. So I would just spend on a card, wait a month, let those posts clear to your report, and then obviously pay the card off in full, and then try again like once a month. I wouldn't keep over trying because they do keep a record of how many times you apply for the card, and so I would just be very gentle about that, and make sure you just do it in a very systematized and very easy way. Spend the card, get the make sure that it posts, and then apply again. I know that that Hilton Aspire card has that limited time welcome offer expiring January 17th, so there is some push to that a little bit, but I mean, I would just, if anything, just apply for the card right before it expires to see if you can get it if you really want the Aspire card. Also, I don't know what your current status is, but if you have, because of this new family language, I would see how much you value the diamond status before you apply for the Aspire card. If you have not had the surpass or the regular card first, the regular card is the most important one you want to have first, because you don't want to miss out on that welcome offer because it's a once in a lifetime. But again, it depends on your strategy, it depends on your status, how you value the diamond status. You may not want to wait that long for that. So just keep that in mind. Good. All right. Matt Clausen says, Elman, welcome offer status and perks on stays with the status. I don't know what that's in reference to. Oh, here we go. Hotel cards don't seem worth it. What am I missing? Okay, there we go. So welcome offer status and perks. Yes. So hotel cards are great because they have the benefits. That's really why you have them. And benefits can include things like elevated statuses or free night awards. That's why you do this. I don't think hotel cards are worth it for spending. You can make some arguments for if you want to bang out some Hilton spend on a Hilton trifecta or a Marriott trifecta, you can do that. But for the most part, you're mostly better off with getting spend for welcome offers and spend on flexible point currencies, and just using the hotel cards specifically just for the benefits. And then specifically on top of that, the free night awards as well. Okay. Kevin S asks, wait, there is family language on the Hilton cards too? No, there's not. But we know it's coming. That's the thing. We just saw it on the Delta cards, the Amex, gold card and what have you. We saw it on like the Amex like cashback cards. We now saw it on the Marriott Bevy card. I mean, it's coming. Like, just pretend it's there. I really like how Uncle Luke in his live stream last Thursday was talking about how if you want to get the Hilton cards, get them all right now. Which I think it's a good strategy if you have the space and the spend for that, because you never know what's going to happen next. I personally am not going to do that myself because it's not going to fit in my strategy personally. My strategy is to get the Hilton Honors card and just kind of build up slowly. But it's coming. Just like the change the business card of the Hilton business card, that's also coming too. So we have to be very, very clear about that. It's not there yet, but just assume it's on its way. Okay. Let's see where we're at here. Dong Kim. How's it going, Dong? Good to see you. Question about when to cancel card with annual fee. Signed up February 5th, 2023. Annual fee posted March 5th, 2023. Cancel February 6th, fulfill 12-month, or March 4th. This is a very, very good question for those of you who don't know the answer to this, because especially with American Express, the welcome offer terms state that you must keep the card open for 12 months or they may do bad things to you, right? So if you sign up for February 5th, 2023, and this goes for most banks out there, you want to wait for at least 13 months because you're going to see that the annual fee, when it posts 13 months later, you'll see the annual fee pop on the card. When you see the annual fee pop on the card, that is the green light to make moves. Either cancel, product change, or keep it, right? And so if you annual fee posts on the card, and I'll use American Express as an example, within 30 days, you can call them and you can just say, I want to cancel my card. So from your example, March 5th to whatever the 30-day period is later, that's the period of time you have to cancel the card. So for example, for my Amex Gold card, when that fee posts, I usually cancel the cards like the same day or the day after I see the annual fee. But because of the fact that there's statement credits on the card, you bet I'm going to be using that Uber $10 credit and that Cheesecake Factory credit and making sure that statement credit posts first before I cancel the card, because I have 30 days to do that and get the full refund on the annual fee. So that's definitely something you have to make sure. Don't cancel the card before you see that second annual fee post. Is it going to be 12 months? Yes. Just to be safe, though, just wait for it to post. They will credit the card back to you, so don't worry about that. You don't have to pay for it or anything like that. It's just something that you want to be mindful of to have the least chance of resistance, least chance of problems as you move forward. Okay. So here we go. Excellent. So yeah, Matt Clausen says going to reevaluate or call recons. Yeah, I think that's important for sure. Okay, good. So I think we're good with the break here. We're kind of mostly caught up with the chat. I know I missed a lot of chat from before, and I apologize for all of that. I'm going to try to develop a system where I can really answer all your live questions, or maybe just do a live Q&A with no canned questions, so I can really be involved with you guys. But again, this is going to be a work in progress, so I really appreciate you guys sticking me here, and thank you so much for being here. That's awesome. Okay, so your offers matter. So Chad McMahon says your offers matter when dealing with pop-up jail. There are certain offers that will circumvent it. There is a PO number that's usually associated. Hope that helps. Okay, that's very, very good. So thank you for that advice, Chad. I think that's a really good thing to think about, and for all of us to think about for sure. All right, so where was I? Okay, back to that. Don Kim, thanks for the question. Appreciate it. No, of course, man. Appreciate you, Don Kim. You're always here on the live stream to see you and Tony's and all the other creators as well. So we appreciate your participation and your questions as well. Okay, so let's go back to the remaining. There's only a couple more of these, so I think we're kind of going towards the end of this. The rest of these questions are not credit card related. I'm just going to put that out front there, but they will help you understand me and get to know me more personally. So if that's something that interests you, definitely stick around for that. So the Amazing Dollar Man asked, Stan, my frog, if it's cool, could you go into how you got into the career you're in now? I think it's a good question. So let's go into it. So yes, I am a doctor. I am actually a physician, a medical doctor. And one of the things that is important to know about into this career is that it takes a long time to get here. It's not something that you just, go and become. You have to spend a lot of time studying and perfecting the craft and making sure you know kind of what's going on. So I have pictures of Boston on the left side because I had lived in Boston throughout my entire duration of my medical training. The medical training involves this. So you have to start with undergraduate, which is 4 years. And so that's important for college. I did do 1 year of graduate school, so that is optional. But it's something that I did personally, but don't have to do that to get to medical school. So after undergraduate, you go into medical school. That's for 4 years. And then once you graduate medical school, you're now officially an MD or a doctor. And then I can go into the training for doctor, which involves internship, residency, and fellowship. And for me, internship was internal medicine, which is basically rounding on the wards, taking care of patients that are sick in the hospital. Residency for me was anesthesiology, where I basically take care of patients in the operating room when they're undergoing surgeries. And then my fellowship was pain medicine, which is my career today, which is where I see patients with acute and chronic pain. And so it took a long time to get here. I think I graduated maybe about 5 years ago. So I've been working as a doctor for about 5 years. And so it's been a really great career. I love doing what I do. And I also love talking about credit cards. So I'm glad I get to do both simultaneously. And being here with you guys is really what makes it, really, really, really nice. And answering your questions and making sure that we all learn from each other. And so thanks for the question, Amazing Dollar Man. Next one is Mr. Herr Munz. I didn't know this, but I looked up the word her, but I guess in German, her is like sir or gentleman. So I think it's like Sir Munz or Lord Munz. And so I'm going to call you Lord Munz from now on. So Maestro Stan, I'm looking forward to this live event. The question I have for you is, how did the Credit Frog name come about? I don't have a credit card question because all your videos give me all the information I need. And thanks for being great at executing your communication skills. Thank you so much, Sir Moons. So yes, that's a good question. When I started this channel, I wanted to get a good channel name. I didn't want to use my full name, so I decided to use something else. And so my fiance loves frogs, and I love frogs too by proxy. And so that's why we have now called it Stan the Credit Frog. Now, beforehand, I used to actually have this channel called The Credit Frog. And about 6 months in, I asked some of my colleagues, like, should I keep this channel name? Should I change it? And everyone said that you are the Credit Frog. And so actually, when I first started this channel, the guy up here in all of my videos on the top left there, that is actually the Credit Frog. But because people refer to me as the Credit Frog now, that's why I changed the channel name to Stan the Credit Frog. But the main reason why I chose the Credit Frog was to get my fiance involved in this, so she has some, a little bit of a say in it, and that's her favorite stuffed animal here at the top. I would say she has a little bit of a unhealthy relationship with her stuffed animal. She loves them a little bit too much, but it's great because for me, I can get her gifts that are stuffed animals. She always loved it, so I think that's really, really a great thing to know about. But that's why the Credit Frog is there, and that's why the channel is called Stan the Credit Frog. Okay. All right. So Visu says, "What is the best credit card? More cash back for your 2024?" And then SS Purgatory X responded, "City Custom Cash." I agree. City Custom Cash is very important. So that's really, really good. All right. And then Ahmad, you have over 100 active viewers. Perfect. Yeah, I've seen there's a lot of you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for coming here. And I really appreciate it. And again, I'm going to put this back down here if I can. Don't forget that like button if you're getting value. Again, my purpose here is to give you guys the most value I possibly can. Again, 1 or 2 hours a month, I'll be out here answering your questions. We'll have some level of canned questions from the post versus some in the live. I'm going to try to make this a little more streamlined next time I do this. But again, I really appreciate you all coming here, and thank you so much for your questions. And I hope that you learned something today. And definitely, we're gonna have a good time. And hopefully, you guys are enjoying it as well. But any feedback about this live stream, definitely let me know so I can definitely make it much better for you guys. Okay. My boy Tony Venture. Okay, Tony Venture asked a question: how do you manage your time between a full-time job and creating these high quality videos? Every minute counts. And so me and Tony have had this discussion before because doing YouTube is hard. Like it's very hard as a full-time creator, but it's also especially hard if you're doing this on top of a full-time job and other commitments too. A lot of people don't realize how much effort it takes to be on camera, trying to figure out lighting and audio, trying to make things work correctly. All this stuff is super important. And so how do you balance that? I think is the main crux of the question. And so I have a couple of pointers that I would want to point out for that. And so the productivity is really important. And there are two main channels I watch that are not credit card related that I've had a lot of value from on this topic. And the first is Ali Abdal, who is basically the guru of productivity. I listen to him often, as well as the Think Media podcast. The Think Media process is more YouTube strategy type of things. And so I love Ali. I love Sean Cannell. They have really excellent content about things I'm looking for to help me become more productive doing this YouTube channel, but at the same time, doing my full-time job as well. And so the first thing I'll say is practice makes perfect, right? Almost. Now, we're never going to be perfect as people. There's going to be people that relate to you. There's going to be people that don't relate to you either. And so really what happens is the more you do something, and this is like a thing for life, the more you do something, the better you're going to become at it. If you look at my videos from like 2 years ago, and there are some that I haven't privated yet that are still there, it's borderline unwatchable, right? I've come a long way from where I am now versus 2 years ago. And that's because I've done this a bunch of times for over the past couple of years. Back then, a 3-minute video took me 1 week to do the whole thing. It took me so long to record it, to edit it, to publish it, to make it look good, all this stuff. But now it's much easier to do that. And I can do a 13-minute video in basically the same amount of time as I used to do a 3-minute video back 2 years ago. And so just keep practicing, just keep doing the thing, keep putting in the reps, just like going to the gym and getting, big. You got to make sure you put in the reps for that. And so this is also the same thing for this live stream. This live stream, hopefully it was enjoyable for you. There are certainly things I can improve on it for next time. And so I'm going to take a look back at the game tape, just like Kobe Bryant did with his game tapes. I'm going to take a look at it, improve, figure out what I can make it better, and then come back full force and do it again, just like every other YouTube video I've done in the past. Also want to make sure that you know that when I work, I actually do work far from my job. So I do a lot of traveling, like I mentioned to you. I do a lot of flights. I do a lot of car stuff because I live in Southern California, a lot of traffic, that sort of thing. So I would say my commute time is about an hour with traffic every single day, if not an hour and a half to 2 hours, right? And so during that time, I could be listening to music. I could be listening to radio or something. But what I choose to do is listen to podcasts from Ali Abdal, Sean Cannell, Think Media Podcast, because in the morning, that time on the morning commute to work is YouTube time or learning time. So I learned YouTube strategies. I learned how to be more productive. I learned these things while I'm on the car ride to work. So that when I get to work, excuse me, when I get to work, I can do my job, be good at my job. And then at 5 o'clock, what I do is I also have to go home, and there's also traffic too, right? And so what I do with that is I also listen, but what I do at that point, I don't want to listen to more YouTube stuff because I'm more burnt out about it. But what I do is I listen to you guys. Who are you guys? Luke, Tony, Josh Butler, Spencer Johnson, Matt Welcher, all you guys, CJ. I mean, all you guys, I listen to you on the way home in my car. So I curate a playlist, in my phone before I leave. I stick it in my car and I listen to you guys on the way home. Which is funny because I don't necessarily watch your guys' videos. I try to, but obviously I can't watch it while I'm driving, so I just listen. So if you guys are doing a lot of editing stuff, like I actually don't see a lot of it. I just listen to what you guys say. And so when I listen to those videos, I get more community posts, things, oh, sorry, I listen to what you guys say. I think of my comment to you when I kind of comment on your channels. And so that's why, even though I may not comment on your channels like until like, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I do listen to them. I just have to go back and like comment on them after I come home. But that's kind of how I am able to integrate a lot of the things that I do because I just use that time effectively. And like you said, Tony, every minute counts, right? Especially if you're a busy guy. If you have like, I even have a family, I'm not married yet, so I got to figure that out soon. Like I said earlier in the stream, I'm getting married next year, so that's going to add a whole different dimension to the time I have available. And so again, it's just a work in progress. And everyone should have a work in progress. That's really, really important. We got a super chat from Mr. Dollar Man. Answered your question. Hope you got the question answered or you heard the question. But $5 super chat. Congrats on your first live stream. Here's to more in 24. Thank you so much, the Dollar Man. Again, we're going to have more of these in 2024. I'm going to keep curating to make them better and better for you. Hopefully, I can answer more tech stuff next time. I didn't realize how overwhelming it's going to be, so it's going to be something that I have to work on, but definitely going to work on that for sure. Okay. All right. So let's see. I'm going to try to get a little bit more in here. I want to say that this is the last question. Oh, yeah. One more thing I want to cover before we get over with this is scheduled tasks get done, right? And so if I look at the week and, time doesn't stop. So every week we got to put out one video. And so there's always going to be that time crunch to figure out what am I going to script the video? What am I going to film the video? What am I going to edit the video? How am I going to post the video? There's all these things to think about when we're thinking about posting a video every week. And then for those of you who post 2 a week, like mad props to you because that is like insanity. Like I could never do that. But besides the point. So when you do one video a week, you have to schedule the task. Like say, okay, after work is done, I am going to film my video, right? And so that way it's going to be there and get done. I think the best example of this is when I had my Hilton podcast video. So there was when the changes happened in October, I think it was October 19th, I remember seeing it that morning that the Hilton honors had changed. I got a text from Sledge about that. And then obviously all the community posts showed the Hilton changes and says, I got to do a video on this. But time is important, right? And so how can I pop this video out as fast as I can given my circumstances? Well, I couldn't do one the same day because I'm working. But I was like, okay, when I come from work, I'm going to just film the video, edit it really fast, like, try to get everything done. And so I put on my calendar at, 7 p.m., get home, do the video. And I did that video in about 5 hours. I filmed the whole thing, edited it, did the thumbnail, did the editing, and posted it. By 2 a.m., I was done. It was a late night, but I got it done. And I think it was a good video because everyone seemed to, enjoy it and really kind of appreciate the content in it. But again, that's kind of a very edge case about what's going on. Typically, my videos are more, I don't want to say they're polished, but they're more, there's a transcript to them. I do script them out. I want to do that because it is something that is helpful to you guys where you can get the most amount of information in the fastest way possible. That's kind of what I want. Does it look maybe a little bit more scripted? Yes. But I think there's going to be a plus and minus to that too. If you guys like this type of stuff, like live stream, podcast stuff, like I think it's kind of easier to tell when it's more live. Of course, there's more rambling, like kind of what's going on now. But, again, that's why I need the scripted videos because you can get that information out super fast in a super streamlined way. Okay. What we got here? I think that's the last question. And perfect. So that's the end of the slide deck. No more of that. Put this back up. I'm going to try to figure out where to start from this tech stuff. So here we go. Okay. So Grocery Guru, can I max out everything and ignore collection for 7 years? No, don't do that. All right. Next question. Here we go. So we got CJ, Stan's crush it. Thank you, CJ. You crush it on the first. You and Ahmad, by the way, hilarious. I always wonder who's going to be first. Sometimes it's not even you or Ahmad, and then I kind of laugh about it. But you and Ahmad have a really good banter going on who's first. And so it's always, in my opinion, may the best man win. So there we go. All right. See Kim, hey Stan, I'll send her an email. Perfect. I am reachable by email as well. So if you have a question, I don't check it as much as I check my comments, but email is also a way to go if you want to talk to me or reach out and ask me a direct question. That's cool. Okay, Tony Venture, thank you, Stan. You're someone to look up to in this space. I appreciate it, Tony. You are also someone I look up to as well. I mean, I look at your live streams and how great they are, and so I try to model myself after you. And I think you have a really unique take on things, and the way you present information is just really, really entertaining. So keep up the great work, man. You're doing good, doing great things. Okay. Okay, Matt Clausen says, "Thank goodness I just talked." Yeah, yeah, Matt Clausen. I love your live streams because, like, again, I only listen, and so I just hear your words, and they're like gold. So I love it. So keep doing what you're doing. And if you haven't checked out, by the way, Matt Clausen's channel, definitely check it out. Um, I want to also mention though, I do watch YouTube videos when I'm like not driving. When I'm at home or something. It's just that during those transit times during work, I'm forced to listen because obviously I drive. So that's important to know. But I do sometimes watch your videos. So don't think that I only listen to videos at all. It's just that's kind of part of uh, how I get to watch the videos and know what they're saying and kind of be able to comment on them. Okay. All right. Kevin S., thanks so much for live stream. I learned so much. Yes to more live in 2024, please. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it, man. And yes, I'm going to kind of go back to the game tape and look and see what worked, what didn't work. And of course, I'm always open to feedback. So I appreciate you guys so much. I want to get to, again, make this live stream as helpful as possible to you. I want to make sure that I cover all your questions. It's sometimes hard um, with this chat feed here, but I try the best I can. Okay, super chat from Mr. Sean B. Thank you for the $5 spot. Great job on your first live stream. Looking forward to more CC info in 2024. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm out. Thank you, Sean B. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for stopping by. Again, we'll see you in 2024, or hopefully earlier than that. Okay, and then see here. My boy Nkosi, this was awesome live. Congrats on marriage. Well, not yet. Soon, though. Bye now, my friend. Thank you, Nkosi. We'll see you soon. See you in the comments. And again, thank you so much for your continued support with the membership. So Moon asks, do you think you'll ever venture into the personal finance topic space, budgeting, investing advice, etc.? I thought about it. Like, if you look at my channel, my most popular video was my backdoor Roth video. And that was something that I just did it because I thought it'd be helpful to people, and apparently it was very helpful to people. And so that's what I do with my backdoor Roth IRA every year. The thing about finance is that I'm not as excited about finance as I am about credit cards, right? Everyone says that credit cards are not changing, they're stale, like everything, all the systems are like already talked about, like the Chase Trifecta or what have you. I respectfully disagree with that, because if you look at the finance space, and this is my opinion, that is actually a stale area, because unless the government changes something, you're going to do the same thing over and over. You're going to spend less than you make. You're going to invest in invest in a Roth IRA. You're going to make sure to invest in S&P 500. You're going to do like all these like very basic things that you can just keep repeating over and over, but that's really what it is. So I can make those videos, but I'll just say it one time and that'll be it. But as you've seen this year, just in the last 6 months, what happened to American Express? What happened to the Hilton Honors card? What happened to Capital One's travel credit? What happened to there's so many things you can just talk about credit cards. And is it like the most profound news? No, like we like things like new credit cards, new bonuses, new transfer partners. That's going to be the best thing. But the thing is, I think a lot of us here, including myself, we love talking about credit cards. Now, whether you agree with that or not is going to be up to you. But because we love talking about it, it's a lot easier to make content. And I think that if I did go out in the finance space, I probably would have more views, more subscribers, but that's really not my goal. My goal is to really share my experiences with you so you can learn from my mistakes, learn from my experiences, so that when you have to make a choice about your own credit card or your credit card strategy, you can have in the back of your mind, oh, Stan said this, Daniel Braun said this, Luke Pointsmile said this, Spencer Johnson said this, and anyone else that I didn't, I forgot. That's why we do what we do. And so again, finance possible, but I wouldn't be as excited to talk about it. Like I wouldn't stay up to 2 a.m. to make a video about finance. It's not going to happen. Credit cards, different story. All right. My boy, Eric, congrats on your first live stream, Stan. Appreciate it, my man. I hope you're doing well. And, definitely check out my videos if you haven't already. Okay. Are you Joel F asks, "Are you going to leave the recording?" So the recording, and I'm not sure about this. This is my first live stream. When you do the recording, or when you stop the live stream, it'll like process for like an hour or two, and then it'll come up. So this will all be here the entire time. But I will chop it up for this next week. I do plan on chopping this up so it's more streamlined. So for those of you who don't want to watch, like it's 90 minutes now, a 90-minute live stream, I'll chop it up to get the most valuable takes of this live stream, so you have that available in a shorter form content, maybe 13, 15 minutes, kind of like my typical standard YouTube videos. Cesar Joel asks, "Are you going to the New Orleans Creator Meetup?" Yes, I am. That is one of the spots I mentioned on my trips for next year. I have already booked that up, and so I'll be seeing you there, Mr. Cesar, as well as Luke's Points of Miles, as well as anyone else who wants to be there too. Okay, let's see. Amex crapped the bed big time. I agree, Element Gaming. They did. I mean, I think they're still good. Let's just hold down. It's not so bad, right? They are still a great issuer. They still have great cards. They're just heading in a direction where I don't want to follow. That's kind of it. Now, they still have great welcome offers, still have great bonuses, but we'll see. The issue is with American Express is that whereas 5-10 years ago, they were kind of the top dog and didn't really have a lot of competition, they have a ton of competition now. And so because of that, a lot of the cards they have that they have not updated in a good way they're gonna lose people to other issuers for sure. And so whereas before they could kind of rely on their name and their kind of exclusivity, I think that's changing in 2024 and beyond. All right. Ahmad says there's too many crossovers in terms of categories for the Freedom and Sapphire cards. A card like the Wells Fargo autograph makes a lot of sense comparatively. I agree, Ahmad. I think you're totally on point with that, because when you have a credit card setup, I think it's really funny to see. Not funny. I think it's interesting to see other people talk about their setups, and it's like I have 10 cards in my setup, but 5 of them cover groceries. Now, if you have like the Freedom card, it's 5% quarterly, and you get that $1,500 and like spend that's capped. I can see you having more than one grocery credit card. That makes sense. But for the most part, you need my way of simplifying things is just having one card for groceries, one card for travel, one card for gas, or if you're better, you can have that on the Wells Fargo autograph card and have it all on one card, which is why I love the US Bank Altitude Reserve card so much, because what happens is that card covers mobile wallets, and that covers everything that's mobile wallets, right? That's a great card. It's like literally one of my favorite cards of all time. And I hope other issuers take notice, because that category is a killer category. I know Matt Clausen talks about that in all of his videos. He loves the mobile wallet category as well. And if you live in a suburban environment like I do, where mobile wallet, Apple Pay is everywhere, like there's no need for a catch-all, because everything is literally a mobile wallet. And so you get that high multiplier, and it's fantastic. And so it really simplified my life and my setup to a very great degree. And there's only one statement credit, that's travel and dining. That's it. Annual. Perfect. I love it. Okay. Element Gaming, American Express is most disappointing of 2023. I think everyone would agree. I think so. Based on the response I got on my Amex video a couple weeks ago, I think you're totally right on that, Element Gaming. David Williams says housing prices on SoCal are terrible. $500K for a 1-bedroom condo. When do you plan on eventually buying? That's a big question, David. I obviously, when you get married, you want to start a family. You kind of want to get a house. We live in an apartment currently, and it's working out for us so far. But like you said, SoCal prices suck. It is what it is. And so we're trying to figure out when the best time to buy is. The interest rates are super high. Prices aren't going down. We're okay for now. We don't know the answer to that question, which is why my hard pulls are typically lower, because we're going to apply for a mortgage eventually. I don't want to be in a position where I have too many hard pulls on my account. And so there's that part of it. But that's a good question. I don't have a good answer for you, though. CJ says, hey, Stan, do you think Wells Fargo will get it right with the transfer partners, or do you think they're more likely to fumble this opportunity? Oh, man, that's the question of the night, huh? Or I guess question of 2023. Excuse me. Is Wells Fargo going to drop the ball or not? I really want them to win. Just like I want American Express to win and Chase to win and Wells Fargo to win, I want them to win. But they have to do this right. And maybe that has something to do with the reason why they have delayed their transfer partners till 2024, because they want to get it right. I guess that's my hope anyways, is that they're delaying it for a positive reason. but we're all eagerly anticipating what that's going to be. And so hopefully they don't drop the ball with this and disappoint all of us. But if it's anything like the Built MasterCard, they're going to be in a good spot. Even if they like do just American Airlines, they're in a good spot, right? They have to really fumble the ball because I don't know if there's any like bad transfer partners. And again, I'm not the best person to ask about this, but if they, if they fumble the ball, I'm not sure how good or bad it's going to be. So we'll have to see. We'll kind of wait in the shadows and go from there. Frank Ronnie asks, I currently have the Marriott Bold that I was hoping to PC to the Ritz. Should I abandon that plan and just get the CSR? Good question. And so I also product changed my Bold to the Ritz as well. It depends on what you are looking for. This goes back to the very beginning of this video. And so it's this live stream. So if you have a chance, go back to the beginning of that. We talk about that in much more detail. But the CSR and the Ritz base is basically what you are looking for, right? They both have priority pass that have great coverage for non-airport loungy places. The Chase After Reserve has a lounge in Boston, whereas Ritz Carlton, you can't get into that lounge for that. But the Ritz Carlton card, if you're a Marriott loyalist, does have that $85K free night award with a lower annual fee. And also that $300 travel credit, by the way. It's incidental, by the way. But one thing about that real fast. I've used a travel credit on the Ritz Carlton card. It's super easy. I call a number, no wait. Call, say, hey, please take this off my account for travel credit. They just do it. Super fast, super easy. Not a big deal. I don't want being on the phone. I actually prefer it because I like talking to people. But some people like the Amex like chat thing, which is fine. Up to you. But to answer your question, no, I think it depends on what you want to do. I would just say again, if you want the Ritz card, just keep in mind you will be locked out of the Bonvoy brilliant sign up bonus if you do that. So just if you don't care about that, totally cool. But if that's something in your strategy, just remember that. Cool. Okay. And Gaming says, I'm convinced Wells Fargo does get Hyatt. They probably had choice too. Sounds like a good combo. Yeah, I think that'd be great. I hopefully get that Hyatt. They get Hyatt too. I honestly think that Wells Fargo is gutting specifically for Chase. So I think I would not be surprised if their transfer partners were very similar to what Chase has currently. Maybe with a little built sauce sprinkled in there. But I agree. I think that's going to be an interesting thing. Okay. Kura bot, hopefully not a bot, but that's cool. Since you see the praises of mobile wallet, do you think more people should consider the Kroger credit card? Absolutely. That is a fantastic card. It's a no annual fee card that gets, I believe it's 5x or 5% cash back on mobile wallets. But the problem with that card is that it's up to like $3,000 to spend a year. And just for my own use case, that's like not going to last me like, 2 months. So like having a card that doesn't have that limit to it, the US Bank Altitude Reserve is a much better fit. But if you want to take the Kroger card for a spin, you want to use that 3,000 for mobile wallets, and that may fit your budget, maybe for 6 months to a year or something. I think it's a great card, and so definitely worth talking about. Okay. These ask, what's the best credit card for your 2024? I don't know yet. We're gonna figure that out in 2024, so we'll have to wait. Anthony Fatino says, I just got the American Express Business Platinum with the 190K bonus. Anthony, congratulations. That's a killer bonus. So congrats on locking that in. That is one of the best ones I've ever seen for probably the spend you have. I'm guessing it's the 15,000 in 3 months. If you got that, bravo, man. That is solid. Do you think I can triple dip on the airline and Dell credits? Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And when I apply for business platinum cards, I do the same thing. So this is what Anthony is talking about. So I'm going to assume, Anthony, by the way, that you applied for it in like December, just for sake. Well, let's do November for sake of example, right? So on the business platinum, there are 2 credits that are important to think about. It's going to be the Dell credit, which is semi-annual, $200 per semi-annum, as well as the airline incidental credit, which is going to be $200 per year, right? So for those of us who use a business platinum card for the welcome offer only, it's $695 a year. But if you do it right, you can get a lot of money in value. I think it's almost $1,000 in value. And this is how you do this. You can use the Dell credit between November and December of 2023 for $200. It'll roll over to January, and then January and June of 2023, you're going to use another $200 in credit. And then from July to November, which is when you had the card the first time, you're going to use the other $200 semi-annual credit. That's $600 just from the Dell credit alone. right? That's crazy. Then you add on top the airline incidental credit, right? And there's multiple strategies on how to use that, or if you want to use it for incidentals versus not. And that's not the topic of this question, but basically you use the incidental credit between November and December for $200, and then January 1st rolls around, you have another $200 to use for the second year that you have the card from January to November. So that's $400 total of that incidental credit. So you have $1,000 total back on that card for that $6.95 annual fee, plus the $190K welcome offer you just got. Ridiculous. So I think Anthony, you're in a really good spot. Kudos to you on that card. That's how I would play it. I think it's awesome. Now, if you want to keep it more than the first year, that's going to be a different story. But for the math of the first year, I think you're in like literally the best possible position. So, bravo, great time. Congratulations again on getting that card. Okay. MVC asks, how do you feel about the Chase trifecta for a 21-year-old with 740 credit? I think it's great. I think it's interesting now because, when we look back historically, we always talked about the Chase trifecta as the best thing for people that are just starting out in the credit card game, right? So the Chase trifecta is important because it's only $95 for annual fee for the preferred version of it, Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited, and you get a lot of coverage. It's a lot of overlapping coverage, but you get started on a nice cashback setup. The points can be redeemed easily. You got transfer partners with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. It's a lot of it's a great entry level system. But now we have Capital One, the Capital One Duo coming up, and I think that is something to consider as well. Because if you look at your own life as a 21-year-old, you may be traveling a lot, you may not be traveling a lot. But if you are traveling a lot, maybe it's worthwhile to get the Capital One Duo first. I know there's been videos about comparing the two of them together, but I would go ahead and say that just look at the cards and how they fit your lifestyle, your spending lifestyle. Do you spend on travel? Do you spend more on like the categories that work better for you for the Chase Sapphire and the Freedom cards? And you've got a good credit score. I would say you should definitely start as early as you can. If it's going to be your first couple cards, I would just say, one card first, build that up. You could also do the thing where you get Capital One first using the pre-approval tool, wait a year with the Capital One Saver One, and then because Chase prefers you to have as a beginner 1 year of history first, then go into Chase Trifecta after that. That's another great way to do it. There's a lot of strategies, but again, it's going to depend on your situation. And so if you have any questions about that, definitely drop me a comment or send me an email. I'll be happy to answer that question in more detail for you. Okay. Matt Clausen says, at Frank, what's the credit limit on the Bold? Good point, Matt. Definitely. The Bold has to have at least $10,000 of credit limit for product changes to the Carlton card. I didn't say that, so thank you for covering me on that. Don McKinn says, I will gladly redeem my Capital One points for Dodgers seat, especially this upcoming season. Shohei and Yamamoto. I am not a Dodgers fan, so I don't know if those are players on the team, but I assume that they are. But if that works for you, man, go for it. Go Dodgers, by the way. I know there's a lot of LA Dodgers fans in my area, but I just don't watch baseball. I'm actually a Rams fan, and I say that very loosely because I watch the Rams, but I don't watch them as much as I'd like to. So, but yeah, I basically don't watch too much sports because I'm doing, a lot of YouTube and other things. Jack Wave asks, what's the quickest way to grab 2 Ritz cards? It's a good question. I would say that you could apply for probably 1 boundless first, wait a year, and then apply for a second boundless after you product change to the Ritz Carlton card. I don't know if there's a rule that you can't apply for a boundless card within a 2-year period. I know there's certainly a rule where you can't have 2 boundless cards at once, but that's how I would play that. I would just look at the terms and conditions. Again, if I had this as a standard question on the community post, I could look into that in more detail for you, but I just don't have it in front of me. So definitely check it out. But that's how I would play it. Okay. MVC asks, also, what is a good checking account bank and what bank do you use if you don't mind answering? Don't mind answering. I'm not going to say which bank I primarily use, but you could pretty much guess it from the cards that I have in my portfolio. Basically, you want a checking account that's stable. You don't want one of those that's like offering you all this like APY that's great, and then they rug pull you and they say, oh, just kidding, we're not having that anymore. Because what ends up happening is you get a good checking account and then you have to keep transferring money from back and forth and moving direct deposit and all this other stuff. And so just keep your life simple. Get a solid Bank of America, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Capital One, whatever you fancy, just choose that. You can also use online things like Ally Bank and that sort of thing. It's totally up to you. I just would caution you against a lot of fintechs only because they promise a lot. They kind of My experience is they overpromise and underdeliver. And so I would just go with the tried and true. That's just my personal preference. Call me a boomer or whatever, but that's what I do. Okay. Aaron Simmons asked, "Hey Sam, what will be your dream point redemption for travel?" We covered that at the beginning of the live, so definitely check it out once this kind of posts back later on. But the dream point redemption is going to be Japan and Thailand, and we're going to that. My fiance and I are going there for our honeymoon, so we're super pumped, super excited for that. That's going to be great. Okay, my man CJ. Okay, take care, Stan. Excellent first live. I'm out. Look forward to the next one. I appreciate you, CJ. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year as well. Matt Clausen, thank you. Matt Clausen, I'm gonna hire you for like my chat guy. Dodgers signed those two players for $1 billion. Dang, that is a lot of money. Kudos to them and their $1 billion. That's pretty sick. Okay, and Vince Colon says, you might have answered this question earlier in the stream, but what do you believe to be too many hard inquiries when applying for a credit card? Yes, we actually answered your question directly in kind of between the stream, and so definitely check back to look for that answer. But essentially, to make it short, there is no too many hard inquiries for a card. It's context dependent because basically you want to make sure that between the 6-month period you have not many, but if you have 11 hard pulls within like the 12 to 24-month period, like that's not as important either. So it's context dependent. Me personally, I try to keep my hard inquiries at 4 or below. My buddy Tony Venture still in the house. Thanks so much for sticking around for this long time. Do you do bank account churning, Stan? Why or why not? So I personally don't do bank account churning. I think it's a great hobby to have, just like this credit card hobby that we all love and enjoy. The reason why I don't like doing that is because I don't like my money moving a bunch of places all the time, even if you're going to get like some bonus from it, right? And that's just personal preference, right? I mean, ACH is pretty standard. It's pretty like safe. It's not like a big deal, but I like to know where my money is at all times. And so when there's fraud or there's some other problem going on, I can react to it right away. And so if you start putting like 5,000 here, 5,000 there, 10,000 there, 5,000, like it's very like it makes your life more complicated, and the returns are still good, but they may not be something that is worth your time. And I think earlier on in my life, I did do bank account churning before even like doing like seeing YouTube and stuff. I did do that a lot because it was a great way to make money fairly easily, and I could move my direct deposit fairly easily. But now that I'm older, I have a little more assets. I don't like moving my money back and forth to different banks just for the sign up bonus. I think the stress is not worth the time commitment and the risk. That's just my personal opinion. Having said that, it's a great strategy for a lot of people to get some quick money real fast. And so we know about RJ, who's a great guy with doing those bank account bonuses. So I would definitely encourage you to look at his channel if you want to look at some really great strategies. I did do, I don't want to call it like a bank account bonus churning, but I did do that US Bank one where it just happened to be there when like I wanted to get a checking account. And of course, if that case, I'm going to do it, obviously, because like, why not? But I'm not going to go out of my way to just do it because I don't have time for that. I have other things I want to do. Okay. I've definitely was looking at Capital One Duo, but had heard many people like the benefits for Hyatt with Chase. I think that's definitely a fair point. Definitely just look at what makes sense for you. Hyatt is by far one of the best redemptions we have so far. So if that's something that you think you'll stay at a lot of Hyatts, then Chase is definitely the way to go. Matt Clausen, I'm available. I accept money and your points. Matt Clausen, we're going to actually talk offline after this because I think I may need your services. L-Man Gaming stands a doctor. I don't think Chase a couple $100 is appealing to him. LOL. Well, I think the answer is yes. That's true. I don't want to say that because all money is good money, right? That's probably not a thing either, but I would say the bonus money is good money. Like I don't want to poo-poo on a couple $100 here and there, but it when you get to a certain point in your life, and a lot of you in your 30s and 40s and 50s can relate to this, there's a balance between money and time. And so it's sometimes not about the money anymore. It's about like your sanity, your stress level, like how much time you want to devote to a certain task. And so it really depends on the person. It really does. And so I'm not trying to poo-poo on like bank account bonus churning because I think it's a really great thing to do if you have the time for it. But for me, it's just not for me. Anthony Venture says, that's how I feel, and I'm afraid of getting hacked. Yeah, I totally feel you, Tony, for sure. Josh Butler comes in. I agree with that mindset, Stan. I don't want my money all over the place, and I guarantee my wife would not like it either. That is for sure, right? I think that it's important to keep your money safe. Moving it back and forth is like not the best thing in the world. If you have like a savings account, that's cool. Just like checking, savings, checking. But if you're moving money back and forth, it can get lost, especially if you have like 20 different accounts. But if, like, for example, you're younger, you're single, you have time, you want to make some quick money, bank account bonus trading, it's good stuff. Okay, who we got here? Ryan Jones says, I'm 624, 31206, and 216 in February. I have a U.S. bank checking account. What do you think my approval odds are right now versus next spring for the Altitude Reserve? Have high 700 scores. I think they're pretty good. I would see if you can get the 12 down a little bit more to maybe 0 to 1, and also start a US bank checking account to get that relationship going for at least 5 days. I'm sure you've seen my US Bank Altitude Reserve video of how I applied for that card, got denied, and had to like go through all the stuff to get approved for it. So it's one of those things where you should expect to get auto denied. But if you get that, there are ways to get past it, and they're pretty nice over the phone about it if you just call them and ask them for a reconsideration. It's hard to tell for everybody. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just a matter of hedging your bet. And so I think at this point, if I could be 06012, that would be my most highest way to get approved for this card. But I think even 06 is worth it. So I think it's kind of up to your risk tolerance and how much you're willing to tolerate having a hard pull on an account for nothing, because that's something that I had to go through too. Is I have to have a hard pull. I want to make sure the hard pull is used for good use. So let's make sure we make it and do it the right way. And that's I think what I would call a measure twice, cut once mentality. EddieVac _old. I guess there's EddieVac regular. Thanks for answering my question earlier, Stan. Love how you went into so much detail. I appreciate that. No, thank you for the question. I can't do these live streams without any questions. So I appreciate you asking it, and I'm glad I could answer your question. ESF 215 says, trying to decide between the CFU or the CSP, high credit score, just want to enter the Chase family, travel a few times per year. If you want to enter the Chase family, I would recommend the Chase Freedom Unlimited, only because their welcome offer is pretty good right now. I think that double point offer is still available. And if that's your only card, I would go for that double points offer and just bang out as much spend as you possibly can on that CFU. Like, don't even just ignore every other credit card. And then after a year or maybe 6 months later, get the CSP so you have access to transfer partners for those points. I actually don't know this. Maybe someone can answer in the chat what's going on with this, but with that double points offer, do you get double points every month, or do they wait until the 12-month mark and then give you all the points all at once? Because I don't know how they do that. But if anyone knows, just let me know. I'm actually generally very curious about that. But that's how I would play it in terms of your question, ESF 215. So I hope that helped. Mr. Vernon Gomez just joined. What up, Stan? Hey, what's up, man? Glad you came in at the kind of tail end of this. I've seen you in the comments. Thanks for your comments for everything, and I've seen you for a lot of different videos. So I appreciate you stopping by. Paul Stein says, hi, Stan. Do you think opening a U.S. bank checking account was a factor getting approved for the Altitude Reserve card? Yes, it absolutely made a difference. I think U.S. banks are one of those banks is you have to. I know that on the forums they say that it's no longer necessary, but it certainly is. I think it is. And again, I'm all about maximizing more than not maximizing. So I would, if you want to get the Altitude Reserve and you want to maximize your chances of getting it, just open a checking account. It's like not a huge deal. And try to do it during a bank account bonus period. That's also important because you can get the extra cash at the same time. See a super chat. Sorry, Anthony. I don't know when you had this, Dad. I had this done because I was too busy reading the chat. But all money is good money. Stand the credit fraud 2023. It's not good that I said that, and it's not good that you put this up here too. But that's fine. You hopefully it's not taken out of context. Not all money is good money. There are certainly exceptions to the rule, but I appreciate the super chat, Tony. And thanks so much for that. Okay. Let's see. Matt Claus says, Ryan, you get it now. Okay. Cesar Joel, time and sanity above all at my age too. Yes, that's for sure. As you get older, you just want things to be more simple. It's just the ways. And the thing is, like, I'm not even married yet or have kids yet. And so when that happens, I can only imagine how crazy this is going to get in terms of complexity. And trying to manage the YouTube channel, which is basically my side job right now, like how I'm going to factor that into my primary job and what I do in the future. We'll see. I don't know. Working on it. Don Kim, gotta run. Thanks, Stan. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you, and we'll have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Abdullahi World's here, another great creator, up and coming for sure. Stan, I have another question. Since I'm a student, can I get the student CCR bonus and the regular CCR bonus, then do the same for the unlimited? So for the unlimited, I think you can, as long as it's underneath that 24-month rule. If you have the unlimited student, I don't know if there's a bonus for that, but if you have the unlimited card as a student and it becomes a regular limited card, as long as you product change that to a different freedom card and get it 24 months later, that should be fine. For the CCR bonus, I'm not entirely sure. I have to look at the website and discuss it with you. But the good news is with the CCR card is that you can get multiple versions of it in very easy ways. What you can do is apply for the CCR card first, and then apply for like the travel rewards card, and then wait a year, and then product change the travel rewards card to the CCR card, and do the same thing for the limited cash card. Apply for that card, and a year later, product change that to a CCR card as well. So you can get multiple CCR cards. And again, great card, 3% cash back on your category. But if you have that platinum honors or platinum tier where you get that 50% or 75% boost, ridiculous. Like you're going to have like a 5.25% card. It has that $2,500 quarterly limit, but the more cards you get for that, the less limit obviously you have. Don't forget about the Susan G. Komen CCR card too. That's also another product that is exactly like the CCR, but just under a different brand name. So there's a lot of ways to get the CCR card that's not involved with the student card. Although I think the student card would be a way to go too. All right. And then Matt Clausen, thank you. Matt Clausen is so knowledgeable. I love this guy. Your points are matched at month 12. That's what I thought. Because like it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense for Chase to give it to you every month because that'd be too easy for them or for you. They're going to wait to the very end and then just, pile drive all the points into your account. So I guess at that point, I'll get the CS, just going back to the other question, you'll get the CFU first, just get that double points thing, pound out all your spend on that card. And then after year one, you can get the CSP and now you have access to transfer partners and you'll have all these points to use. So I think that's the way I would play it. Cesar Joel, thank you so much as well. After 12 months, you get the rest. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Cesar, for the information. Sledge. Salute, Sledge. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Happy holidays to you and your family. ESF2, thanks for the answer. Great, perfect. Okay, and then after 24 months, Matt Clausen says you can get another CFU sub. That's for sure. We just talked about that. Jim Livesay says, I was just approved for the Altitude Reserve without a checking account. Awesome. Congratulations. Again, it's your mileage is always going to vary. I'm all about maximizing your chances of approval. And so if you can do that, do it. But you can see from Jim here as a live data point, you can actually get that card without it. So again, do the best, do the best things you can. Okay, so it's getting close to 2 hours. I do have to go soon, so I apologize. Maybe another 5 minutes or so, and then we'll have to step out. But I appreciate all of you guys for being here. I'm gonna put this banner up again so you guys can see this. Don't forget to the like button and value. It does help with the algorithm, helps my channel out a lot. So if you want to drop a like, I would really much appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna get this banner off here, and then let's see what we got. Where was I? Vincent Collins says, what was the highest amount of consecutive cards that you have applied for / got approved for? I got a little greedy and applied for 2 and got approved for 2. Venture X for 15K and Built for a measly 4K. So I would say if you look at my recent video where I talked about applying for Built and US Bank Altitude Reserve on the same day, and then the Chase and Cash like a week later, that's the highest velocity I've ever done in my entire life. I typically space my accounts out by 3 to 4 months at a time, but just the situation called for the circumstances in my situation called for applying for them in rapid fire mode. So luckily got approved for all 3. Not everyone's gonna have to be approved for all of them if you apply that quickly. But I think a lot what had to do with that was based on the time I applied for those cards. My report was very clean. I had very few hard pulls, very few new accounts. And so by gardening my report for the past year until that point, I was able to capitalize on a moment where it was necessary. And so that's kind of how I would answer that question. Time Insanity, Vernon Gomez says, sounds like Stan is a boglehead. That is absolutely true. I am a boglehead at heart, all about the 3-fund portfolio, all about using your Roth accounts and your brokerage to your advantage. And so definitely that is simplicity is definitely the key to life. Cesar says, I'm married with 2 kids. At least I'm retired. Yeah, that's good. Being retired sounds awesome. Can't wait to join you there in maybe 20, 30 years. Okay. Nicole says, in hindsight, it might because it's my first card with Wells Fargo. Okay. YBJ Yang. Hey, Stan, you're one of my favorite CC YouTubers to watch. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate your honest and informative takes. Well, I love, of course. I mean, that's exactly what I want to do is make sure that I give the right take to you. And so everything I say is going to be from my personal experience. If it's not, I will definitely indicate that. And so I will continue to make hopefully great content for you in 2024 and beyond. Vincent Pasquale says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Vincent. Hope you and your family are doing well. Okay. Ahmad says, hey, Stan, I'm at 4.6 and 0.30. I have a score in the mid 700s. I'm thinking about the city custom cash. Do you think I should be fine to apply? I've heard many things from different people about the city's rules. I think if you want to go for it, just go for it. I think 4 to 6 is not terrible. It's a little bit higher than what I'd like to have. I think having 1 to 2 is going to maximize the chances for that card. But yeah, I would definitely just, if you think you want to get it, there's no hurt in trying. But it's going to be, again, your mileage may vary. Okay. Very good. I have to skip down here. There's a lot of things. My buddy, my man, Jake Mercure. Hey, Stan, just popping to say hi. Experiencing my first Centurion Lounge right now. That is awesome, Jake. I hope you enjoy. Hope your travels are going well. Hope you're having a great Christmas. I love your videos. They're really honest takes. And having seen you do this, the videos and the way you do them is just a really great, inspiration to a lot of us. So awesome stuff. Definitely check out Jake Mercure's channel if you haven't. He has some good stuff on there for sure. Okay. And let's see here. Sean Olaf says the U.S. Bank Ultra Reserve is possible to get without a checking account. I got it in November, but I already have a Cash Plus card with them for years. Thank you for Sean for that data point. Again, your mileage may always vary for everybody, for everything that you do. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it now. It's two hours in. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I definitely really appreciate you all dropping by. Again, this will be a live stream that you can watch in your own time. Once it kind of processes and posts, I will be cutting it up a little bit for the next week, so you have it in a more of a condensed format. Specifically, the questions that we had that were pre-asked on the community post. Again, don't forget to drop a like before you go. That I really appreciate that. Again, the reason why I do what I do is to answer your questions and to use my life experience to help really funnel you into the right credit card strategy for you. I'm not an expert. I think collectively we are all experts. We can use all our information together to get the right value and the right kind of recommendation for each individual person. And just by opening this dialogue together, we can really be able to maximize the most we can get from points, miles, and credit cards. So again, I want to just wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. New videos we'll be posting in the start of 2024. As usual, again, I'm going to kind of take a step back and do these live streams and figure out what the best way is to structure them. But I really think that all you guys have made this a successful live stream. So thank you so much for that. And, take care, and we will talk to you guys soon.